Hey there, and welcome. In this explainer, we are going to build a super practical leadership toolkit, drawing from the great book, High Impact Interpersonal Skills. We're going to dig into why real leadership has almost nothing to do with your title, and everything to do with mastering a few key skills that make people want to follow you. So where do we even begin?
Well, let's start with a big one, a question that honestly trips up so many people. What is the actual difference between managing someone and truly leading them? It's one thing to have the job title of manager, but it's a whole other ballgame to actually inspire a team to do their best work. And that's the puzzle we're going to solve today.
And here's the good news. The answer isn't some secret, magical personality trait that you have to be born with. Nope, it's a set of tools. Specific, learnable communication skills that you can practice and get great at. And we're going to start building that very toolkit, tool by tool, starting right now.
Okay, our very first tool is the one everything else is built on, influence. Now, let's be clear, this is not about manipulation or playing mind games. Real, genuine influence is the ability to positively affect someone's thinking or their actions, simply because they trust and respect you.
So influence really comes from three places. You've got position power, which is just your job title, right? I'm the boss. Then there's expert power, which comes from what you know, your skills. But the real game changer, the one that lasts, is person power. That's the influence you earn when people genuinely trust you and value your character. And that is what we're aiming to build.
So, how on earth do you build that kind of trust? Well, the number one skill, without a doubt, is active listening. And look, this is way more than just waiting for your turn to talk. It's about intentionally hearing, really trying to interpret, and actually showing that you're interested. It is the single fastest way to make someone feel valued, and feeling valued is the absolute bedrock of trust.
And this quote from the philosopher Søren Kierkegaard just nails it. You can't lead someone, you can't help them, you can't influence them until you first make the effort to see the world from their point of view. Active listening is the key that unlocks that understanding, and that understanding is what builds the trust that gives you real person power. All right, let's grab our second tool. Once you've used influence and active listening to earn the right to be heard, you've got to have something compelling to say. This is where we get into the science of persuasion, the more direct method for actually getting support for your ideas.
And you know what's wild? The ancient Greeks cracked this code over 2,000 years ago. Aristotle gave us this incredible framework that still holds up. To persuade anyone, you need three things. Ethos, which is your credibility and character. Logos, the actual logic and reason in your argument. And pathos, the appeal to their emotions. The most persuasive arguments, they always have a blend of all three.
Now here's a super practical tip for making your case. You have to focus on benefits, not features. A feature is just what something is, the specs, the data. But a benefit, that's what it does for the other person. People aren't really moved by a list of facts. They're persuaded by how your idea is going to make their job or their life better. And this Dale Carnegie quote is such a powerful reminder of why that works. We so often try to win people over with pure logic, all logos, all features. But we forget that, at our core, human beings are emotional creatures. If you really want to persuade someone, you have to connect with that emotion. That is the power of pathos. Okay, so you can influence people and you can persuade them. That's fantastic. But look, a great leader can't be everywhere at once. So the third tool in our kit is empowerment. This is how you multiply your impact by developing the skills and the confidence of your team, mostly through delegation and coaching.
Good delegation is not just about dumping work on someone's desk. It's a real process. You got to find the right person for the right task, be incredibly clear about what success looks like, provide them with the support they need without micromanaging, and then, of course, review the outcome together.
I love this quote from General Patton because it just captures the magic of real empowerment. Your job as a leader is to define the what, the goal, the mission. But when you trust your team to figure out the how, you unlock their creativity and you create a sense of ownership that you just can't get from making people follow a script.
And right alongside delegation, you have coaching. Think of coaching as the ongoing support system that makes all of this work. It's not about telling people the answers, it's about guiding them, asking really good questions, and helping them discover the answers for themselves.
And it's important to know the difference here. People often mix these up. You see, training is about transferring knowledge. Mentoring is about giving guidance from your own experience. But coaching is unique.
It's that active process of guiding someone through a new experience, helping them learn and grow as they go.
This brings us to our final tool. And you know, it might just be the simplest one, but it is also one of the most powerful: praise. The best way to think about praise is as the amplifier in your toolkit. It takes all the great stuff your team is doing and just cranks up the volume on their motivation and performance.
So look, feedback really has two jobs. We tend to be really focused on the second one, right? Correcting when things go wrong, but we often totally neglect the first and arguably more powerful job of feedback, to motivate people by reinforcing what they're doing right. And that's exactly what praise is.
And the best part is, the process couldn't be easier. Step 1, you actively look for the specific actions and behaviors you want to see more of. Step 2, the second you see it, you say something. Praise them for it. Just be specific, be sincere, and do it right away. It's that simple to amplify success.
So there it is, your starter kit for high-impact leadership. You use influence to build the trust you need to even be heard. You use persuasion to make your case compellingly. You empower your team to grow and scale your impact. And you use praise to motivate and amplify every single success along the way.
Each one of these tools is powerful, but when you put them all together, they can completely transform the way you lead. So my question to you is, when you think about your work, your team, your goals right now, which one of these tools are you going to pick up and use first?